Okay, so kind of a wrap up on the framing. Well, the guys are putting the siding on today and yesterday, so they're like beating on the walls. So it's kind of noisy. So it's a little late. As you can see, the sun's starting to go down. So it might be a little dark, but to try to record during the day when they're beating on the walls, putting siding on and stuff, it's kind of hard. Anyway, so yeah, so on the what you want to do with framing. Plumbers have been in here already, which I got a video on that. Shingles are delivered on the roof. I got a video on that. I don't know. I tried to load it this morning and it's making it private mode. It's like locking it into private mode. I don't know why. It's just some guys booming shingles up on the roof. Anyway, I do have a recording of the plumbers though. It was like 3 guys who were in and out in a day. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, before your plumbers, of course, you got to have all your framing done. The only thing I didn't have done was some of the kitchen cabinet blocking. It's better if you get it in before them, because then they can drill through it instead of you having to cut around pipes and stuff. So it's just a little extra work if you do it after. But anyway, yeah, so you want to go through, you want to make sure that there's a place to screw the drywall. I mean, you want to look at like here, for example. So I had to put a nailer on here all the way up so that there's a place to screw the drywall to the ceiling, right? Because there was no rafter there. The rafter's back, it's back farther, right? So, and then so you would just want to go around the whole place and just look at your corners are always the problem, right? So, like here, I had to nail a 2x4 all the way up this entire rake because again, or the drywall on the ceiling meets the wall. You need a place to screw the drywall, right? So, so I had to do that. I mean, in a lot of places. I'm just kind of giving you some pointers. Here, I'm trying to. Here we go. Oh, I got a phone holder today, so instead of holding it in my hand. Yeah, so there happened to be a roof rafter here, so just got lucky. But otherwise, probably you'd have to put one here. Like here I did, like where this little pony wall is. I had to put a piece across and then one on this side, one on that side. So really, I didn't need this one here because this is so close. I mean, it's only like 3 inches away. I mean, if they screw the drywall here, it's fine. Nobody's going to be walking on the ceiling, right? So I just put one there because it kind of locked this wall in place. It's the wall, the little wall for the bathtub to close the bathtub. Anyway, yeah. So so I put put one across here and then 2 down to here. Some of these can be kind of tricky because there's really nothing to nail to. Most of the time, I put the blocking, I call it blocking, whatever, the nailers, I put it before the roof is sheet. So when I'm done with the walls, even before I put the roof rafters, if I know the roof rafters are going to be, I'll put it, see, you just nail down from the top, right? So I'll use like a 2x6 flat ways because it sticks out on both sides of the 2x4 wall, and I'll just nail it down from the top, and that gives you a nailing place on both sides. I didn't do that here because I was in a hurry to get it roofed and get it to get the sheathing on the roof and then get it papered so it was dried in because we had a lot of rain this year and the floor was getting wet a lot of times and it's not good. So anyway, so I didn't do some of them. So but anyway, yeah. So you see, I put a nailer here, and then on this side I didn't. Because it's just, this is really close, so you don't need a nailer right in the corner I call it a nailer, place to fasten the drywall. That's called a nailer. I know they use screws, but anyway, the terminology is a nailer. So I didn't put one here because it's not necessary. I did here because this is one of the situations where I did it before I put the roof rafters on, or definitely before the sheeting. I didn't know where the roof rafter was going to be, so it's there. Otherwise, I want to put one here because this is close enough here. It's only a few inches away. Here I did because that's 6 inches away. Is it really necessary? I don't know. Like I said, nobody's gonna be walking on the ceiling, but they can fasten here. It doesn't matter if this little part is not fastened to this much drywall. I mean, they hang the ceilings first, and then they hang the walls so the wall would hold it. Really, when they drywall the wall, they push the piece up tight to the ceiling because they hang the top row first. And then when they hang drywall, and then they hang the bottom row. They lay the sheets horizontal, so they hang the top row, they push it up tight against the ceiling, and then they hang the bottom row, and then they have a little tool on the floor that shoves the sheet up, which I'll cover when the guys are here drywalling. Anyway, yeah, so see here, I've got nailers here. You just want to go around and make sure you got everything is covered, all right? So here, I had to put this nailer in here at an angle. These are the ceiling joists. I'm using 2x4s because it's cheaper and the span isn't that much. So it's fine. I mean, some jurisdictions won't allow it. Like they have minimum ceiling joists, just like 2x6. But here there's no rules, and it's more than strong enough. I mean, I weigh over 200 pounds. I could hang off of one of these, do chin-ups on it, no problem. It's only going to be holding up drywall and a little bit of insulation. Nobody is ever even going to be up here because from here to here is maybe like a foot. So anybody's going to be walking around. So I've got to access to get the heating unit up there, the horizontal furnace. Here in Texas, we use horizontal units and put them in the attic. I lived in other states where they have basements. They put them in the basement. They use an upflow unit. That's what we do here. I always do a large access. I think I did like 30 by 36 or 33 by 36. Bigger than necessary, but makes it easier for guys to service the HVAC unit or to get it up there and get it out when they have to replace it someday. I do a nice big HVAC platform here. So it's long. It's probably 13 or 14 feet long and 5 or 6 feet wide. And I double the 2x4 so I can get enough insulation under here for the ceiling. So I just put a 2x4 on top of a 2x4. Now the HVAC guys will do the HVAC platforms. I think in all the states I've lived in, they usually do it, but sometimes the framers do it. I work with my HVAC guy. I'm the one that framed this, so I just did it. But I don't know. I mean, you got to talk with your HVAC guy before do you include the platform? Do you not include the platform? They won't bring the material. They expect you to have the material there, at least the OSB or whatever. But whether they do it or the framer does it, you got to work that stuff out. So anyway, so that's something to think about when you're hiring guys. But anyway, yeah. So you just want to go around. And you just want to check whether you're framing it or your framer's framing it, because framers, they forget stuff too, especially at the end of the job. They're in a hurry, they want to get on to the next job or whatever. What I do is I buy marking paint. It's spray paint that's made to be sprayed upside down. It's when they mark lines on the ground. And there's a handle thing you can buy. It's about 3 feet long. And it's got a little hand grip on it, and it activates something at the bottom of it. You put the can, you insert the can in it, and then it's about 3 feet long or so, and then it's got a handle like a squeeze thing, and then that activates something that makes the spray can spray. So you don't, like if you're spraying on the ground, you don't have to bend over. You can just stand up. The can is loaded and they're upside down, and then you just walk and spray. I use that thing. I just use it because you can turn upside down now. You can only do a couple squirts, and then you have to. Because the can itself is made to spray upside down with the nozzle pointed down, which is opposite of a normal spray can. It's called lick marking paint. I buy like a fluorescent pink, and I'll go around and I'll mark. If the framers miss something, I just make a pink mark. And that way, the framer knows, hey, I missed something, so you call him up and say, hey, you missed this, and that, or whatever, and he'll come back and fix it. But I do that just so he knows where the issues are, or even if you're going to take it and show him anything that's missing, you won't forget, because you'll just walk around and look for pink spots. The marking paint is usually, they're fluorescent colors. I use fluorescent blue, fluorescent green, whatever. So anyway, so that's what I do. It's a little trick. Makes it easier for everybody. Anyway, yeah. So you wanna just make sure you've got, when you look up, that you can see that the drywall can be secured. Now, if you're doing this yourself or if you're new at this, yeah, it's kind of hard to visualize. Okay, but see here again, blocking here, blocking on top of all your walls. Like I said, a lot of this I put on, not all of it, but a lot of it. The real easy, fast stuff I put on before I put the rafters on, when the wall, after I got all the walls up, because you can just nail it down from the top. You can use a 2x6 and you can have it overhang on both sides of the 2x4 wall, or you can use 2 rows of 2x4 and it overhangs more, whatever you have on site, as long as they have a place next to the wall to fasten the drywall. Unless the joist is only a few inches away, it's close enough. So that's kind of the way I do it. Okay. And then another thing is you want to make sure that your headers are fairly flush with this side and this side. They're made out of a couple pieces of wood with OSB in the middle. Unless you're on the West Coast, they just use 4x material. Most of the rest of the country, 4x material is hard to get. So anyway, the reason that is when they go to drywall, if it's sticking out on one side, it makes the wall even fatter. And then when you go to put your door jambs aren't designed, they're designed for 2x4 width. It can be a problem for your carpenter, your finished carpenter, because now he's got to beat on the drywall to try to get a little bit narrower so he can put the trim on. So that's something to think about. I do it. I just go around. I just make sure they don't have to be perfectly flush, but sometimes they're sticking out a 1/4 inch on one side because you're building the walls on the floor. You're going quick. The header drops a little in your hand when you're going to nail it or whatever, and then all of a sudden the wall's a 1/4 inch thicker here, and the finished carpenter's not having a good time trying to get a 4 9/16 inch wide jamb trimmed out on both sides. And actually our lumber here in Texas, because it's mostly southern yellow pine, it's actually 3.5 inches standard for 2x4s, but ours is like, or our 2x6 is 5.5. Well, our dimensional lumber, it's bigger. I mean, our 2x4s here are nearly 3 5/8 wide, dried. Here all the lumber's kiln dried. And then kitchen cabinet blocking, top of block. Kitchen cabinets are usually 34.5 inches high, the base cabinets, and then you add 3/4 inch plywood, and then you add 3/4 inch of granite, or stone, or whatever it is, or it could be hardy board and tile. Anyway, you're adding 1.5 inches, so you end up with the countertop at 36. So I block at 34.5 top of block, and then the bottom of upper cabinets is always at 54. So it's basically 18 inches above the finished countertop, after the granite's installed. So bottom of block is at 54. And then the cabinets that I'm using, the uppers, come 39 inch instead of 42. The reason they do that is it leaves it down so you can put a crown molding around it if you have 8-foot ceilings. It's kind of the new thing. More cabinet companies are doing it. Probably they're also doing it to save a little money. Hey, we can save 3 inches of wood, which, adds up if you're making millions of cabinets. Anyway, so then I do top of block at 93 inch. So top of block 34.5, bottom of block 54, top of block 93 or 96 if you've got 42 inch uppers. You could have 30. I'm sorry. You could have 30 or 36 inch uppers. I haven't used those in years. But anyway, top of block is wherever the top of your cabinets is going to be. That's the top of the block. So that's where the type of cabinet will be, but when you go to fasten it from inside the cabinet, you need to block down from the dimension so that you can fasten it. Now, your framer should include cabinet blocking. That's just standard, but a lot of times you got to tell them. Some will just say, "Hey, where do you want your cabinet blocking?" But sometimes they don't say anything, but they should be. It's something you want to discuss. They include all the blocking. I also block for getting back to the kitchen cabinet blocking. So this is the cabinet run here. I also block the side wall because sometimes you want to fasten, the cabinet isn't tight to the wall, or if you have a filler strip, it isn't tight, so you can put a screw in there and you can suck the cabinet over tight to the drywall, you know, if it's off by a 1/16 of an inch or so. So for the base cabinet, I'll block out a couple feet. And then for the upper cabinet, I just block out like a foot, because your upper cabinets are only a foot deep, so I block there, in there. It gives you the ability to pull the cabinet over a little bit if you need to, tight to the wall, so you don't have to put a little, I don't like to put those little strips of molding that some installers put where the cabinet meets the drywall. I like to just have it tight against there, so. And then I even fill the small spaces, because when you're putting the cabinets in, you don't have to worry where the studs are or anything. You just know when you put a screw in the wall, there's going to be wood there. And you want to be careful also. Now, I didn't have my blocking done, because actually the plumbers came. I thought they were coming out to look at the job. I've used them before, so they know me. And they're like, no, we're here to do the plumbing. Anyway, so I didn't know they're coming that day. I thought they were coming the next day. So you want to make sure that that there's nailing plates over all this stuff if you're blocking. Now, if I would have had all my blocking done, they would have put nailing plates. These nailing plates here, these are longer. I can't see. See, it's getting dark. Anyway, yeah, these are like 4.5 inch, I think, or something. They come in different lengths. It comes like a couple inch, and there's like this, and then there's these big honking ones like these. Anyway, so you want to make sure that that you have nailing plates. I'll have to go and add nailing plates wherever there's pipes, because I use 2.5 inch cabinet screws. Most cabinet installers do, and those points will make it through the cabinet, the drywall, and the 1.5 inch framing lumber. The point will make it through, and it'll puncture pipes. So you want to have these nailing plates covering. You can either put 2 this way, or what I do is I'll take like a long one, because I had them leave a bunch for me, because I said, hey, I'll take care of it. I'm not going to have him come back because I wasn't ready with the blocking, even though he showed up without. Anyway, I just help people out, or whatever you want to call it. So then I just put a nail on each side of it, and the nail head will hold this in. I mean, it just needs to be there. These things don't need to go in. If you got 2 nails holding it like this on each side, once the drywall's on, it's not going anywhere. But if you go put a screw in for the cabinets, you hit metal and you'll move the screw. But anyway, so you want to make sure that you've got all these places covered, because some of these pipes are touching the back of the 2x4. And actually, funny thing, which is they have to come back. The plumbers, the guy who was putting the siding on, he probably can't really see it. Anyway, the guy who was putting the siding on, and he missed where the 2x4 is. He didn't know where the 2x4 was, so the nails come through the OSB a good inch. And it hit this pipe here. I could feel. I always check. Anyway, I could feel it. Okay, so I went and checked. So what I do is, after the siding is done, before the house is drywall or even insulated, when this is, it's basically I do it after the siding's done. I'll go and I'll check any pipes that are close to the wall, the outside exterior walls. I'll go and check. I'll either look or I'll run my hands here, and if there's a nail coming through where the pipe is, I'll check. Well, I checked this one, and sure enough, there's a little indentation here. I don't know if it punctured the pipe. I'm not going to take a chance. So he'll come back and fix it, which is why I didn't put this block in. I cut it. It's ready. But the plumber will have to come back and just cut out a section. It's PEX plumbing, obviously. He'll cut that section out, and I'll put a piece in there. I don't want to take a chance. We don't have water yet here. I just have to pay for the meter, and then they come and install the meter. But I don't have water, so there's no way to pressurize the system. They did pressurize it with air, but it's not the same as with water. So he'll fix this. I'll go around. What I do is I'll go around and I'll check every pipe that's on these exterior walls where the siding guys were nailing, and I'll make sure that no other, I already did it, but that's what I would do. That's what you should do, is go around and check. You got to check people. I mean, it's just the way it is, because guys are in a hurry and stuff happens. I mean, I've had drywallers hit a live pipe. The house was pressurized. They're installing the drywall screw hit the pipe, and now it's leaking inside the wall. Had to call the plumber. He comes out and fixes it right away. Had to shut the water off at the meter. But I don't want that to happen here, because I might not get this meter on until it's already plastered and painted, and it would be a big issue. So the best thing is just double check, make sure that your your pipes are okay. There's no nails sticking through. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of, so I go through, I do all that. I put all my blocking in. I also put in blocking for bathroom cabinets. Bathroom cabinets, the same thing, 34-inch high top of block. I do block the side wall, again, because I like the option to be able to pull the cabinet tight to the wall if I need to. And again, excuse me, I had to cut around all this stuff, and again, I'll put nailing plates in front of these. If these blocks were already in, he'd come through with his bit. He would have drilled through. So I had to screw around, fitting around stuff. But I mean, that was, it's just the way it worked out. Let's see, what else? Trying to cover everything I can. The way you support your roof rafters is different in different states. I mean, here our roofs are all hand cut. Some parts of the country, like when I was building on the West Coast, it's all trusses. So we have to support our rafters here, which I did do. I mean, now it's really hard to see because it's getting dark. But see, if I record tomorrow, these guys will be whacking away on the walls, and it'll be disturbing for people trying to listen to the video because it's actually pretty loud. Anyway, I mean, I did, let's see here. Yeah, see, you can't even see now. Yeah, it's getting dark. Well, anyway, I did post up off of walls. Generally, the rule is if it's more than 10 foot from support point to support point on a 2x6 rafter, you got to support it. If you have more than 10 feet. So you support the outside wall, and then you go up no more than 10 feet, you should be supported. I mean, they're not real anal. I'm having private inspection just so I can say it's been inspected when I sell the house. It's not like government inspection, it's a private inspector. But anyway, I mean, they still follow, you still have to follow the rules, for that kind of stuff. So, because they don't want sag, they don't want the roof rafter sagging over time, I guess. I mean, they're not gonna break, but they could sag. So anyway, so then you find exterior partition walls, and you can just post up off of those with a 2x4. You can't really see it, but that's what I did here. So I posted up to the bottom of the rafter, all the way down to the top of this wall, in various points all around the house. Wherever it was necessary, wherever I had a roof rafter that wasn't supported for 10 feet, then I did that. Now, if it's 2x8, it's different. It's longer for 2x8 because obviously these are 2x8 and they're 15 feet at least. So, but that's okay. So anyway, so I went around and did all that, and then of course I had to build a lot of these little short pony walls to continue walls up to meet the bottom of the rafters in the areas where I have vaulted ceilings. Now here I could build this all in one shot because both rooms on both sides of this partition have a vaulted ceiling. So this was a continuous wall all the way up. But here, now we're in the master closet, this has a ceiling at 9 foot because I did basically 9-foot ceilings in here wherever the flat ceilings are. So I needed to be able to carry the ceiling joists. So then I built a pony wall on top of, and I didn't build it in all one piece and put it up there. I mean, I put a top plate, I used my level and got it lined up, and then I put a top plate, and then I just individually cut the studs. I had to angle cut the tops to the pitch of the roof, which is 412, and then it's like an 18.5 degree angle. Yeah, and then toenail them in at the bottom and nail them in up here. Just kind of do it. Yeah, it's a little screwing around, but anyway, so I got to do that and do that here and a couple other places too. Let's see, what else? Nice sunset. Actually, it looks better than the camera's making it look really bright. It's not that bright as the camera's showing. Let's see, what else? I think, that's kind of it. The big thing is to walk through and make sure you've got points of fastening for your drywallers. And then the other thing too is, before your trades come, like your plumbers, your HVAC guys, and your electricians, you want to have a bunch of 2x4s. They can be short pieces, 2-foot pieces, 1-foot pieces, long 2x4. They need for blocking, because they need to put their own blocking in too, to support different things like, here, This is can you see it? You can't hardly see it now. Anyway, there's the pipe, and it's really getting dark. Sorry guys, I should turn my light on, but then I have to stop filming. And I don't like editing. Anyway, so there's the main coming in from the floor. So they had to put 2x4s here to support the shut-off valve, this is the laundry room. So they need, and more than that. I mean, they put this blocking in to support this pipe. They put blocking in here to support your washer and dryer, where your washer and dryer box is going to be for hooking up your washer dryer. So you need to have that stuff on site because they're not going to bring lumber, right? So you need to have some lumber on site, some 2x4s basically, for your 3 trades. Even for your siding guy, now I hired the siding done because they'll be done in a couple days and it'll take me a long time. Sometimes they need some blocking too. So anyway, so make sure you have some lumber on site for the guys. Like I said, they can be shorter pieces too, but have some longer pieces, and then they'll cut them as they need them. Here's another place. See, they had to put this block in here. This holds the pipe for the sink, for the bathroom vanity, down here for they put this in here and this across, and that's for the refrigerator, for the ice maker. Yeah, so anyway, I guess that's kind of it. I mean, I'm running out of light, and I have my light here, but it's not even plugged in. Otherwise, that would help. That's kind of it. Have some lumber on site. Make sure you got your place for your drywall guys to screw into. Like I said, if you have some scrap lumber on site and you missed one, they'll just put it in. They're not gonna not put up that piece of drywall, or they're not gonna, they're not gonna say, oh, we're not gonna do that. Or maybe if it's ridiculous, but generally they'll if they need to add a piece or two because the framer forgot it, it's not a big deal. So anyway, so that's kind of it. I guess we're not going to just keep walking around in the dark. If I think of anything else, I'll make another video tomorrow. Maybe I'll cover the siding guys when they're here. Because I don't have much to do tomorrow. I'm going to start on the roof. I think I'm going to do the roof since I didn't do the siding. All right. Check out my other... I'm not going to tell you like and subscribe. Obviously, you guys know that. The biggest thing is if you like the videos, to hit the like button, because I'm not interested in being a YouTube guy or a YouTube star or monetizing it. It's not. This is just about teaching my 40 plus years of experience in the construction industry. It is passing it on. So if you like it, I think the algorithm picks it up. It says, oh, okay, there's been this many views, there's this many likes, and it promotes it more, so more people will find it. That's what it's really all about. So if you think it's good information, and you want more people especially, it's mostly for newer people, either people that are doing stuff themselves, or maybe they're going to start out in framing, or house building, or whatever. They'll find this helpful, because it's a lot of little things that a lot of other guys, they show themselves working, but they don't explain all these different things. And I'm also explaining it not just from a framing perspective, because I was a framer in the 80s and 90s, even in the 70s, but I don't want to date myself too much. But anyway, back before they had nailing guns, when everything was hand drives and you had to put them in 2 hits, because you couldn't be on a framing crew if you couldn't set a nail in 2 hits. And those nails are bigger than framing gun nails. They're fatter, they're longer. Anyway, that's another story for another day. So I'm passing on those, and then I'm also going to pass on, because I build houses for resale. So I'm going to get into eventually like how to pick out good lots, what kind of lots to stay away from if you're looking for a building lot, how to place a house on a lot, things to think about, all that kind of stuff. What kind of plans to use, or floor plans, that sort of thing, what to look out for. Just all that stuff too, not just putting product in place, because I'll go into tiling, I'll cover it, because I'll probably do the tile myself. Kitchen cabinet install, I usually do that myself. What else? I do trim sometimes, depending. I think on this house, maybe I'll do this. So I'll go into all that kind of stuff too, just like I'm doing with this. But it's going to be, I'm not saying every house I do, I'm going to do this, the same videos over. But even if I just finish this project, go through all the steps, go through like how to find lots, how to deal with, site work, like bringing in soil, taking out trees, all the things that come in with building a house. Even if I just finish this house and cover all that, that information will be there forever on YouTube, and it doesn't get outdated, right? So I'm not saying every time I do a house, I'm going to go through it. This is going to be the same thing over and over again. I mean, I might do some other stuff, but basically, yeah, all these videos will be there. So just check out my channel, because there's other stuff on framing the house, you know, from the beginning, and framing the garage, and, you know, whatever else you might be interested in. But like I said, just hit the like button, because I think that helps the algorithm, so more people will find it. So it'll just help more people. It's not about helping. It's not going to help me any. I mean, I'm not going to like have tens of thousands of subscribers and make all this money. I mean, it could happen, but I'm fine building houses. You know, so I just want to pass on this information. So anyway, so that's enough. God, this video is 30 minutes. Jeez. Okay. Well, I was going to say back to work, but now I'm going to say time to go home.